What if I told you the final chapter of Phineas and Ferb was never supposed to be the one we saw? For years, fans believed the show ended on a perfect note. Summer wrapping up, the gang moving on. But what if that wasn't the full story? Because recently, something strange resurfaced online. A rumoured lost episode, hidden, unreleased, and according to the whispers, too emotional for TV. It's called The Last Summer, an episode that changes everything we thought we knew about the show. We're talking tearful goodbyes, time-bending inventions, and a shocking moment where even Candace gives up the chase. This isn't just a theory. Footage has leaked, animators have hinted at it, and the fan reactions, utter chaos. So what was in this episode? Why did Disney bury it? And how did it finally get out? Let's uncover the emotional, bizarre, and absolutely wild truth behind Phineas and Ferb's lost episode. And hey, before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because what you're about to see is not your average cartoon conspiracy. It's a story buried in nostalgia and sealed with heartbreak. It all started with a strange upload. In early 2024, a grainy, low-res clip popped up on an obscure animation forum. It showed Phineas and Ferb not building a roller coaster or time machine, but sitting quietly on their front porch. No music, no zany antics, just silence. And then Phineas says something that sent chills through the fandom. "This might be our last summer, Ferb." The clip vanished within hours. But by then, the internet had seen it. Fans started digging, and what they found was shocking. Several storyboard artists from the original show had quietly posted concept sketches years ago, ones that didn't match any known episodes. They showed scenes of Perry removing his hat permanently, Candace hugging her brothers instead of trying to bust them, and Isabella walking away in tears. The sketches were tagged with one mysterious title, The Last Summer. According to fan investigators and former crew members, this wasn't just an idea. It was fully written, partially animated, and then abruptly shelved by Disney. Why? No one's saying. But insiders claim it was too emotional and didn't test well with younger audiences. Some say it was scrapped right before airing. Others believe it was never meant to be seen at all. But somehow, some way, a piece of it survived. So what exactly happens in this so-called lost episode? And why are fans saying it completely redefines the show's ending? Pieced together from leaked scripts, animator notes, and blurry screenshots, the plot goes like this. It's the final day of summer. Phineas wakes up, and something feels different. There's no blueprint, no outrageous invention planned. Ferb doesn't even speak, he just hands Phineas a photo. It's them as little kids, covered in glue and glitter from one of their first backyard projects. That's when it hits them. They've done it all. The roller coasters, the rockets, the trips to the moon, it's over. Throughout the episode, instead of building something, they revisit old spots from past episodes, each one triggering a short flashback. But the tone is different, slower, reflective. Even Candace doesn't try to bust them this time. She just watches quietly, with tears in her eyes. Then comes the twist. Perry, Agent P, shows up, but this time there's no Doofenshmirtz, no traps, just Perry removing his hat. And for the first time, Phineas and Ferb acknowledge they've known all along. They smile, hug him, and say goodbye. The screen fades to black, but just before it does, Phineas whispers, "Thanks for the best summer ever." Cue a slow acoustic version of the theme song. It's not wild, it's not action-packed, but it's real. And fans who've seen fragments say it feels like the emotional closure we never knew we needed. So was this episode buried on purpose? Or was it simply lost in the shuffle? The behind-the-scenes story might just break your heart. Here's where things get weird. By all accounts, this episode was real. It was written. It was storyboarded. Animatics were even recorded. And then, it vanished. Some say Disney execs pulled the plug because it was too sad for a show known for its energy and endless optimism. After all, Phineas and Ferb wasn't just a cartoon, it was a celebration of imagination. Airing a finale that felt like a goodbye, That might have clashed with the brand. Others believed the creators, Dan Povenmire and Jeff Swampy Marsh, wanted to end the series on a deeply personal note. But the timing wasn't right. There were still reruns, merchandise deals, and crossovers to promote. A quiet, emotional send-off didn't fit the business plan. But the most compelling theory, it was shelved deliberately. Insiders whisper about internal disagreements. Some say a key animator who worked on the episode left abruptly and took unfinished footage with him. Others claim the episode was leaked internally, watched by a small test group, and the reaction was so overwhelmingly emotional, Disney chose to lock it away to protect the show's tone. Years passed. The files disappeared into what fans call the Disney Vault. Only whispers remained. But recently, thanks to a hard drive recovered during a studio auction, footage started resurfacing. Glimpses, storyboards, a grainy clip with Phineas staring into the sunset, saying, "We did it all, didn't we?" And just like that, the lost episode went from internet myth to possible reality. Now let's look at the fan theories. What this episode really means, and why some believe it wasn't just an ending, but a coded message from the creators themselves. When bits of the lost episode started leaking online, fans didn't just watch, they analysed, frame by frame, line by line. Because this wasn't just a forgotten finale, it felt like something more, like a message. One theory that's gained massive traction. The episode was a metaphor for growing up. Instead of one last wacky invention or a musical number, the story reportedly focused on the boys realising summer was almost over. For good. No more big builds, no more missions, just change. It was raw, quiet, almost melancholic. Phineas and Ferb sitting together, asking, what happens when we run out of time? And fans were not ready for that level of emotion. Another theory? The creators were saying goodbye to their own childhoods. People have pointed out parallels between Dan and Swampy's real lives and moments in the episode. A character sketch resembling a young Jeff Marsh. A quiet homage to Dan's first animation reel. Hidden Easter eggs that longtime fans would recognise as callbacks to the creators' early work. Things only the most devoted viewers would catch. Some fans even believe this lost episode was meant to connect with other Disney lore. A few wild Reddit threads suggest that Perry's final mission in the lost episode ties directly into the storyline of Milo Murphy's lore, hinting at a larger shared universe that Disney never confirmed. And then there's the darkest theory, that the episode was originally titled The Last Day, a possible finale where the characters, aware that their world is fictional, realise the end is near. Some claim a line was cut from the leaked animatic, where Phineas says, "Maybe every summer ends, even the ones we never thought would." Whether any of it is true or not, one thing is undeniable. This episode meant something. It wasn't just lost footage, it was an emotional time capsule, a goodbye letter from the creators to us. And what happens next might be the most unbelievable twist of all. Because according to new reports, Disney may be preparing to officially release the episode. If this episode really existed, why didn't we see it sooner? That's the question that's haunted fans for years, and the answer may be more complicated than we thought. According to multiple former animators who've spoken anonymously, the lost episode, often referred to in production circles as Summer's End, was fully storyboarded, partially voiced, and even animated before being shelved. But why would Disney lock it away? Some sources suggest that the tone of the episode clashed with Disney Channel's branding at the time. It wasn't goofy enough. It wasn't flashy. It was too real. The idea of a finale where the characters reflect on time, change, and the passage of youth, that might have been a little too emotional for what execs considered a kids' show. Others speculate there was internal friction. The creators, Dan Povenmire and Jeff Swampy Marsh, reportedly pushed hard for the episode's inclusion as a series ender. But with spin-offs and merchandising still booming, execs may have wanted to keep the show eternally in summer, rather than closing the door for good. And here's the kicker. In a 2020 podcast, Dan Povenmire was asked directly if there were any episodes that Disney wouldn't let them finish. His answer? There are stories we wanted to tell that just didn't fit the mould. He never mentioned Summer's End by name, but fans took that as a quiet nod. Now in 2025, rumours have begun swirling again. A few online insiders claim Disney has quietly remastered the episode in preparation for an eventual drop on Disney+. Some say it may appear as part of a Phineas and Ferb documentary or the upcoming revival season. No confirmation yet, no official trailer. But cryptic tweets from animators, sneaky winks in the latest promos. It's all pointing in one direction, something is coming. And if this episode finally sees the light of day, it won't just be an unreleased cartoon. It'll be a full circle moment, a goodbye that was years in the making. This isn't just another forgotten animation project. For thousands of fans, Summer's End represents something personal. It's a symbol of closure, a final chapter that was never allowed to be written. And now, that community is rallying. Across Reddit, X, formerly Twitter, and fan forums, hashtags like #ReleaseSummer'sEnd and #PhineasFinale are gaining momentum. TikTok creators are making emotional edits, sharing what the show meant to them as kids, and how this lost episode feels like the goodbye they never got. There's even a growing petition on change.org demanding Disney Plus officially release the episode, especially with the new revival season on the horizon. It's already racked up tens of thousands of signatures, and it's climbing by the hour. And here's where it gets really interesting. Some insiders claim that the only reason this episode might finally drop is because of this fan pressure. That Disney is watching the numbers, seeing the engagement, and realising just how much demand there is for something raw and real from this universe. Because yes, Phineas and Ferb was fun, colourful, chaotic, but it was also deeply meaningful. It reminded us that summer is fleeting, that childhood is precious, and that sometimes even cartoons deserve an ending. If Summer's End ever sees the light of day, it will be because fans refuse to let the story fade. And if you're one of those fans, your voice matters. So comment your thoughts, theories, and memories below. Let Disney know you're ready for the truth. Share the petition, use the hashtag, because this isn't just about nostalgia. It's about giving a show that shaped a generation the ending it deserves. And just like that, a piece of childhood we thought we'd lost resurfaces. Whether Summer's End was buried by accident or design, it's clear that this episode still means something. Not just as a missing finale, but as a reminder of the magic this show created. Phineas and Ferb gave us inventions, laughter, and unforgettable characters. But more than that, it gave us a world where every day held possibility. Maybe this lost episode was the final adventure, one that quietly slipped through the cracks but never left the hearts of the fans. If it stirred something in you, you're not alone. Feel free to share your thoughts below, what this show meant to you, or what you think really happened to the episode. And if you'd like to see more stories like this one, please subscribe, it will help me tremendously. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next episode.